Brandon Benefield, Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michelle.
What's up, everybody? It's that time of the week. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for the SHW podcast. This is our wrestling. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield, alongside the great Gerard Bonner and the lovely Diana Michelle. How are you guys feeling? How you doing? We're a week away from SHW48.
I mean, it's been forever.
Whew.
It's been forever. I know we've had a lot going on this past January, but I mean, come on. Next week needs to get here. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, under normal circumstances, we'd be together tonight, but
Right.
nothing's really normal about things right now. So yeah, we'll be together next week. I'm glad we at least had the big award show so we could actually
Yes.
see each other in between all of that time. But yeah,
And
it's
I would
February.
say it would be nice that we were seeing each other without having to work, but being we
Well,
weren't working still.
always
which was
working,
great.
apparently.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun because it was still a different setting for us to
For
work
sure.
together. So
For
yeah,
sure.
it was fun.
Absolutely. And Diana, you're right. January, for some reason, just felt extra long. I saw somebody on Facebook, one of our fans had posted something about, it was like January 30th, and they said it feels like it's January 73rd at this point,
Right.
because it's just been such a long month.
Like it feels like Christmas was forever ago.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
and now,
And it was
like
just
GB,
like a month.
like GB said, we're waiting till the second Friday for this show.
Yeah.
And then, and of course, February is a short month as well. So it's going to be weird.
Mhm.
Long month, short month, and then we're
Yeah.
off next month. And we'll talk about that later on. But anyways, we do have a big show, SHW48, coming up a week from tonight at the Action Building. 8 big matches and a big announcement from the general manager. So this will be our preview show for that show. So let's go ahead and get into it and get into this card here. We found out GM Gary Lamb, after the events that unfolded last month, Team SHW now has full control of the company once again. Thank goodness. And we found out he will be announcing the new matchmaker or the new booker for Southern Honor Wrestling. Have you guys heard any whisperings behind the scenes? Do we have any idea who this could be?
No, but considering that Southern Honor does have control again, it's still going to be a different dynamic, being the booker is not Dylan.
Yeah.
It's going to be still someone completely new. So I'm excited to see where this goes and who this is, but I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. I'm still kind of like, is this going to be cool? Is this going to be good? Who could it be? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't know. I mean, I know Gary, says he has friends in all sorts of places, but Gary also acknowledges that he's not a wrestling guy. So
Right.
I don't know who he's going to call for this particular space. I'm sure. Well, I can't say I'm sure. Since he has released Brooklyn from her duties, I don't know what that means for all things Dishonor. I don't know if Dishonor itself is disbanded. I don't know if, somehow, well, I don't think that Sunny Days has seen the light because, he'll be defending the tag titles, I believe. So I don't know. I mean, we're looking at a completely different SHW. And who knows? Because the other thing is he's still, I think he said he's licked his wounds from all things connected to the Georgia Wrestling History Award. So I don't know if he's going to try to pull something out of the hat that will make them go, you won't ignore us anymore. This could also be one of the strange moments in pro wrestling. When moments like this happen in wrestling, weird things can happen. I'm just reminded of that moment when Vince McMahon brought out the new general manager of Monday Night Raw, and his name was Eric Bischoff. And exactly. And the whole world went, what? I don't know if Gary wants to create that kind of moment. And if that's
Have
the
you ever
case,
known Gary to do anything small?
he doesn't do anything small and he doesn't do anything safe. So okay. Since we're just going to spitball here, imagine a world where Gary Lamb announces in a world. Yeah. Where Gary, there are two people he could announce that I think would, there are three people who he could announce that would completely shock the world. There is a safe choice, which I don't think he'll go with because it's safe, right? The safe choice, I think, is Todd Sexton. I think it's a solid, sound choice, but I think that's too safe. Sexton's already been working, behind the scenes. He's been kind of the level. It makes sense, but it's safe.
Also the Booker of the Year. Right.
Also Booker of the Year. I mean, if he does that kind of, but the other side of it is, imagine a world where Gary Lamb announces somebody like Murder One. Murder One has proven to be a booker in other companies before that have rivaled with Gary Lamb. I mean, you got a moment there. What if he pulls off a name like Tim Blackman? Yeah, the whole world would literally fall apart if Tim Blackman
booking Southern Honor.
You heard me correctly.
IWE?
Oh,
you heard me. If Tony Khan can book Ring of Honor and AEW, think about this: Tim Blackman coming into SHW.
You
already
They don't rival. I mean, that's like
listen.
Go ahead.
Think about this. He's the only man right now that can say he's beaten Gary as promoter of the year and promotion of the year. Why not team with him? And then there is another wild choice that he could grab, which I'm sure this will get a certain pop in certain spaces. Stephen Platinum.
I don't see that happening.
Hey, there's a lot of things I didn't see happening.
GB's on something tonight. I don't know what it is.
I'm telling you.
He's tripping.
Are we reaching way down in the barrel of
But listen to what I'm saying. Nobody ever saw Eric Bischoff becoming the general manager of Monday Night Raw. It seemed impossible. And so with that said, we never thought Dylan would not be booker of this company anymore. We never thought we would go through almost a year of dishonor with Brooklyn as the booker. We did. I don't think Gary picks a safe choice.
Mm-hmm.
Would he be willing to let bygones be bygones? Because think about this. Blackman would then work for Lamb.
Yeah, but he's not a booker anyway. He's a promoter.
He's a booker.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
so far-fetched, right?
Yes, very. So let's talk about the matches that we do know for sure are happening, as opposed
He's like,
to
you're tripping. There's no way. Okay.
As opposed to the stuff that we're just speculating on because
show for that one.
Yeah.
That's a
y'all,
show
y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And we just sat through 7 months of dishonor, and I'm crazy. Okay.
No, you're not crazy.
Well, at least they were here to begin with. Like, they were part of the company prior to turning on the company.
One wasn't.
Yeah.
Murder One wasn't. Exactly.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything could happen. It's SHW. We say it every month. You never know what's going to happen. And
we need a shock factor either way. So I'm all, yeah.
Yeah. To GB's point, anything could happen, and we'll see. But what we do know for sure is we have 8 solid matches lined up on the card. And let's start with the Priest of Punishment. Judas made his surprise return in the closing moments of last month's show when he showed up at the end of the main event, took out Gunnar Miller. Did we see a reunion of Lethal Poison? Was he working on his own accord? Like, what was happening there? We don't know, but we do know he'll be facing Proc the Croc Johnston, a young man who we saw one time before in SHW when he took Joe Black to the limit. And so now he's got an even bigger task ahead of him, physically and literally, with Judas. And it should be a heck of a match. These are 2 big dudes, guys.
Yes. Yes. I remember the Joe Black match. I remember how hard he hitting and all the chops and it was like brutality, but at the same time it was like a lesson being taught, sort of. I think Proc has he's learned a lot of lessons with Joe, and going against Judas, it's a different class. If not a school class, it's like a different lesson. I don't know if that's saying much about.
I wouldn't want to go to Proc school if those are the 2 professors.
I definitely.
I wouldn't want to go to that school.
A student there at all. I mean, I don't want to learn these lessons. I'm good with observing, But Judas has proven to be just as brutal in different ways, and he went through a casket, but I mean, he looked like he was doing all right the other night, right?
Yeah.
So I'm ready to watch it, but I'm gonna keep the distance as always. But two monsters.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting, and I'm still stuck with kind of our parting image from our last show, watching Judas, who was not scheduled to be there, in the ring, standing right across from his former member of Lethal Poison. And we're saying former, but we don't know that they ever disbanded. All that we know is that someone retired.
Right.
Retiring doesn't mean disbanding, just like we're not sure if Dishonor is still together because their seeming leader seems to be gone. So there's a lot of questions to be asked here. And we saw how crazy of a run Judas went on without Corey Hollis present.
Yeah.
What will he do as Corey Hollis is scheduled to be in the building? What's about to happen? All of that said, I'm nervous for Proc, because Judas is already dangerous. If there's something that he's cooking up, Proc better bring his A, B, C, D, and E game, because he's going to need every bit of it, and the crocodile he rocks with.
So I don't know if this is happening on Diana's screen,
It's
but on
frozen.
my screen, but it's cool
He's
because we can still
frozen.
hear you. So it's like you're a ventriloquist almost,
His face
Oh,
is
really?
like,
because you're still talking.
Oh,
but
that's
you're
wild.
not moving.
It's not frozen over here. That's
It's
so
all
weird.
good. Now
There
you're
you
back.
go.
Now you're back. But hey, good thing is we
wow.
heard everything you said. So people listening
everything.
would have known no different if I wouldn't have just said that. But anyways, next time I just won't say anything. So if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify or any of the places
Just
you want to
forget
listen,
anything we just said about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
just ignore. But anyways, let's move on to this next matchup. Nick Halen, the co-winner of the Performer of the
Wrestler.
Year, the Wrestler of the Year for 2022. Nick Halen, along with AC Mack. Nick Halen will be in action against Parker Lee, a young man who we have seen coming up through the ranks in some other promotions. We saw him briefly at SHW during the DDP Diamond Cup Invitational. GB, there's a particular person you like to compare Parker Lee to. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Parker Lee, I compare him to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, a very young Ricky Steamboat. If you go back and watch old videos, the build is like exactly the same. It looks like they were both cut out of the same cloth. Some of his move sets are the same. His agility, a lot of the way he moves in the ring reminds me of a very young Ricky Steamboat. This is going to be a great test for Parker Lee and his first official singles match here in Southern Honor. I'm excited. As Brandon has mentioned, we've had a chance to see him in some other spaces, and he's one of those guys that I think is a rising star without question. You've got to wonder now the new level of confidence Nick Halen will be walking into SHW with. I don't know that our fans may have been paying attention to the things that he's been doing outside of SHW, but certainly those things, coupled with what he's done in the last few months inside of SHW, were enough to get him voted as Wrestler of the Year. So I think this changes a lot of things about Nick Halen and being in SHW. I think he's going to work on a different level of confidence. All the more reason why Parker Lee has to come in ready to score the upset, because if indeed Nick Halen is still, after everything that happened with the awards, still stuck on Buff the Stuff, we could see a major upset happen this coming Friday night.
I think Nick may have a new confidence about himself. Not that he didn't before, but a new level of confidence, as you said. And I don't know that he's going to show his humility as much as he did when he accepted his award. But I'm for it. I want to see him go and just do his thing and show why he is voted Wrestler of the Year. And as far as Parker Lee, I love Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I have not been able to see Parker in a singles match yet, but
hey, you are in for a treat.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
That's what I hear, and I'm looking forward to that a whole lot.
Yeah.
Well, like GB said, I don't know what the deal is with Nick still being hung up on Buff Bagwell. He wears the hat to the ring. He does the Buff dance, the strut to the ring, coming out to Buff's music.
Maybe
So
he was a fan as a kid and he just wants to be. I don't know.
it could be, but when they interacted before, it was a little more of a mocking tone. It seemed like to me.
Yeah.
So if GB's right though, if he's too distracted with that, Parker Lee will come up and bite him. And Parker Lee may still be fairly new to the game, and Nick's been around a while, but Parker Lee could come up and make an upset here at SHW48. So we'll see. But moving on down the list, we have the Southeast Best of 7 series continues with the match number 6. Owen Knight versus Najasism. Najasism coming into the night with a 3-2 lead. He could either put it away here and win the 4th one, or Owen Knight could tie it up 3-3. And we're in the home. We'll see. Naja's been around for the most of the year, the past year, but Owen's been here since the beginning. So when I say Owen's kind of got the home field advantage, I feel like it's because he's been around the longest. Naja has been here quite a bit over the last year, like I said, but I don't know. It's still a toss-up. Both of these guys are amazing, but I also want to see it go the full 7. So I kind of want to see Owen tie it up here. So it has to go to a game 7 here. So what do you guys think?
Do we know where the 7's supposed to be scheduled?
That's a good question. I do not know.
Yeah, not sure. Well, like anything, when you have a partner, a dance partner, the more you dance, the better you get. So the more these two wrestle each other, the more, experience they have with each other, and they learn more about each other and how they move and how they work and their whole move set and everything, the better of a match I think we're going to get on this one. All their matches that I've seen have been amazing, but the more they are together, it's like, I don't know, it's just gonna be like music and magic and everything all together. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really, really good. And this match 6 and 7 is gonna be something. I'm kind of pulling for Owen too. I want him to win. I want it to go to 4-7 and see who comes down to the wire. But either way, it's gonna be a great match. Either way.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very special. There's a couple of things to note here. First of all, Naja is up 3-2, as you've already mentioned. What's very interesting is the last time Owen won a match in this series was match 3 at SHW. Matches 4 and 5, Naja has won. And that puts really the onus right now on Owen Knight. His back is against the wall. In his home turf, he's got to win. Now, here's the other side of it. The other side of it is Owen Knight had lost the match before he got to SHW in match 3. So Naja won match 2, then Owen won match 3. Will that be the same situation here for match number 6? The other thing is I had a chance actually to talk to both of them this week, and that video might be circulating right now in the metaverse. If you have not seen it, just trust me, you want to see this because it's intense. It's very intense. And
where can we find it?
Yeah.
I think Naja's gonna put it out, or it might be out there already. Okay. But it's pretty intense. And Brandon, you've been in spaces like this. Diana, you've been in spaces like this where it's supposed to be a simple, nice, respectful conversation and temper.
Was this an in-person conversation?
It is in person. It is in person.
Hey,
so,
I'm reminded of GB having a sit down with David Ali and Owen Knight, and GB ended up on the on the wrong side of it.
It didn't fare well. It didn't fare well.
So I'm very curious to see what happened in this case.
Yeah, all of that to say, match 6 is going to be must see, and I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be incredible. So that if you want to catch everything for SHW48, but next week, that's going to be special.
So here's the thing. On a card full of show stealers, this next one might even be the show stealer of the entire show, and that is Carly Bravo in a match that we never even thought was possible because his opponent, up until a month ago, had been retired for 2 years. And apparently, we wondered when Corey Hollis returned last month as a surprise partner, to Gary Lamb and Gunnar Miller, we thought, is this just a one-off? You know, what is this? Does this mean he's returning to professional wrestling? What do we make of this? And then we see the card for this show next Friday, and we see Carly Bravo versus Corey Hollis in a match that could steal the show. And I'm so excited about this. I had no idea it was a match I even wanted to see because, like I said, Corey was retired. I never even thought it was a possibility. So Corey Hollis returning. And don't forget about what happened. GB, you touched on it earlier. At the end of the show last month, Judas returning. Were they in cahoots? Was Judas working on his own? Corey, if you looked at Corey's actions in the ring, it appeared that he didn't want him to do what he was doing. But then again,
like he was shocked. Like
he was running Lethal Poison for a couple years prior to him retiring, and that was his MO, was deceiving everybody and swerving everybody. And so who knows what in the world's going on. Of course, he helped regain control for Team SHW in that match last month. But we even said it at the show. Did we get rid of Dishonor and exchange it with Lethal Poison? Like, I don't know what to make of it. We don't know what to expect. But he's going to be facing Carly Bravo. You mentioned Dishonor. What does it mean for Dishonor? If Brooklyn's gone, is Dishonor still a unit? You've got Carly Bravo's on the card. Joe Black's on the card. Sunny Days and Sal Renaro are on the card. So there's 4 members of Dishonor there, assuming they're still Dishonor.
Right.
I don't know, man. But what do you guys think about this? Corey and Carly. This could be a huge match.
Definitely could be. But there was a lot of questions, as you guys said, raised from his coming back for one, and then how that match ended. He was, celebrating with Gunnar and Gary, and then here comes Judas. And it seemed to me that he was just shocked. He didn't expect Judas to even be in the building. Nobody knew he was there. I didn't see him. I didn't know. And for him to come in, and I don't know, just the way that Judas was looking at Corey when he was on his knees, and it was just like, hey, I'm here, use me. But it was just like, hey, let's get back to our old way of doing things. Me and you, man, me and you. Or was he just saying, you left me, you retired, didn't talk to me, you left me, so now I'm going to screw up everything you have. I mean, there's just a different couple, a different way of looking at it. But I don't know. We'll see. Either way, anything Carly Bravo does is going to be great. I mean, y'all, we're all fans. We know that.
Yeah.
But
yeah. One other detail that we haven't mentioned is one could argue that Carly Bravo could very well be the reason why SHW has control of this company again, as he went for a super kick that missed the intended target, Gary Lamb, and instead hit Brooklyn.
In a match he wasn't in.
In the match that he wasn't in. And so there's certainly a lot of tension, and that's the wild thing. There's tension all over the place with this match. Is Carly Bravo still a part of Dishonor? Has he gone out on his own? I mean, think about this. The three of us, the world now knows us as V3. When one of us do something great, we all congratulate each other, and we do it privately and publicly. Did you see any congratulations to Carly Bravo from anybody in Dishonor when he made his debut on Impact Wrestling? Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Zero. You think that's not lodged in the back of his mind? And then when it comes to Corey Hollis, let's remember the reason Corey Hollis was retired was because he spent months trying to get Gunnar Miller to join them in Lethal Poison. And so all kinds of weird little things would happen. And he's like, no, we didn't mean that. No, we love you. No, all that. He is a master of deception. Like, I have a question for you. Like, we get to the building early enough, and sometimes we see people, sometimes we don't. There was no hint of Judas anywhere around. Okay. None. There was no hint of Corey Hollis anywhere around. Corey Hollis shows up, and then all of a sudden at the end of the match, Judas shows up. We've never seen Judas in street clothes before. Judas showed up through the crowd. Was he on speed dial? How did he get there?
How did he know?
How exactly? None of us knew that Corey Hollis was the third man. How did he know? Like, these are and what has their relationship been since Corey has been away? You know,
Right.
Corey's been away at home doing his thing. Nothing said that they had to stop talking. I'm sure Judas was reaching out to Corey for advice and all the other things that he had going on in his match with Cyrus. What would we do, boss? Like, so now it's you know what it's like? It's like that relationship that's been quiet that nobody knows about. And then you go public and you're like, wait, one of you are comfortable going public, but the other one isn't.
Right.
So I'm just sitting here going, did Judas spill the beans and was Corey like, hey, we're not going public yet till we get engaged? Like, is it that kind of thing? I mean, like, now listen, you guys out there, you know the deal. Where there's somebody who you're rocking with who's mad that you didn't put their picture on the gram. And so they go ahead and they beat you to the punch and put something out there. And you're like, hold on, we're not supposed to do this yet. We don't want everybody in our business.
Right.
I'm just saying, did Judas bring everybody in the business of lethal poison by showing up at the end of the show last month? And
that
what's
was the face
to say?
he had.
That was the face. That's what I'm saying. He's like, I'm here. Let's rock.
This
is going to be very interesting. No telling.
And here's the thing, and we said it at the show. We almost pretty much say this at most every show, is that we end up with more questions than answers
every time.
Will any of these answers get answered, or any of these questions get answered at the next show? There's only one way to find out, and that's to join us next Friday for SHW48. But let's move on down to card. We got a few more to knock out here. 6-man tag team action. Exotic Youth taking on Top Team and Cyrus. And here's the thing. We just found out over the past week that Zach Mosley will still not be cleared to wrestle because he's still injured. And so they have a fill-in. It will be none other than the male performer of the year for 2022, Hunter James, the Das Wunderkind, the absolute Wunderkind. So you have the tag team of the year teaming with the male performer of the year, and supposedly it's a one-night only situation, but for some reason that just makes sense. They, Hunter James has that kind of that brash attitude.
He fits, right?
Yeah, it just makes sense.
Of Exotic Puke. Oh, and yes.
And then you've got Larry Lazard, you've got Teriyaki from Top Team teaming with the Destroyer named Cyrus. Here's the thing. We've seen what Cyrus can do. We saw what he did with the frat paddle, breaking it over his knee. He's not called a Destroyer for nothing. I mean,
the Vader bomb on Bryce was amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
I've actually put that on a reel that just
it loops,
and it's gone viral. Like so many people are loving it. It's crazy. Not to mention the slap video too. But anyways,
that part.
Anyways, we've had our issues with Exotic Youth, so I got to tell you, I'm not feeling too bad for him in this matchup. Any other team, I'd be like, oh boy, I feel sorry for you.
You kind of want to pull Hunter aside and say, "You sure you know what you're doing there?"
I almost feel bad for Hunter for teaming up with Exotic Youth,
right?
But
maybe you should just stay on the apron just to be the third man to make it all even as it would have been, but. Yeah. Shout out to Zach though, who had gone under surgery yesterday. Also, hopefully everything come out good with that, and just switching it up a little bit. We wish him well, and that he gets well soon or whatever. But
very true. We have fun. We crack jokes, but when it comes down to it, we don't want to see anybody get injured.
No. Or to be wrestling injured as he has been. So I mean, but he loves it, and you're gonna do what you're gonna do to stay in the game, and well wishes there. But back to the match, I'm excited to see this one. More giddy than I'm just like, just want to see destruction.
Well, the thing I'm probably most nervous about is, usually Exotic Youth will come out to the ring first. And so that gives them the opportunity to mess with you, Diana, and to mess with you, Brandon. And I hope that doesn't turn to them messing with me.
Don't be worried.
Well, I'm just saying, like, folks, our table sort of has been safe. I say sort of because, you know, it's all relative, right? But yeah, this is the Hunter James piece throws a different wrinkle in this whole thing. You know, for folks who are not familiar with him in SHW, this guy's a star. And
Yeah.
the thing is, the stars shine in SHW. The
That's true.
stars show up in SHW. And his star is about to rise. And I think teaming with Exotic Youth, I don't want Cyrus and Top Team to automatically feel like this is a slam dunk.
No.
Because it may not be. And so this is going to be interesting. I want to see just kind of how well Hunter James will fit in with Exotic Youth, though I think, you know, if there's going to be an addition to Exotic Youth, he's the guy. So
I agree.
this
But
gets
Exotic
very
Youth, like
interesting.
Zach and Pep and Bryce, they work so well as a team, as a unit.
do.
They
They
have
do.
moves that, I mean, it's like the Three Stooges.
Mhm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. But has Hunter been practicing? Does he know the move set? Is it going to be something that he can just jump in and make it flow, or they're going to have some hiccups?
It's a great
So,
question.
I mean, we'll see, right?
We shall
will.
see. And Three Stooges, I like that. I might use that on commentary. That's good. Anyways, let's move on. Speaking of tag team action, we have the SHW tag team titles being defended finally after a couple months, and it's going to be Happy Madness defending the titles against a team that I don't know if these guys have teamed together outside of SHW or not, but
if they should have.
but when I'm seeing it on paper, I'm like, oh, this just makes sense.
Of course.
So you got Marvelous Michael Stevens and Matt Sells. Now on social media, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I saw Sells referring to the team as the Job Squad 2K23. So I don't know if that's an official team name or just something he's kind of trying to rock with on the socials. But anyways, Matt Sells, Michael Stevens. If you saw Michael Stevens at the last show, you know he's wildly entertaining, as well as
Very.
Matt Sells, Santa
Yes.
Sells a couple of months ago, and he's wildly entertaining as well. So should be an interesting matchup, and it could just end up being an upset that nobody sees coming. You know, Sunny Days and Sal Renaro are probably looking at this like, you know, oh, we got this in the bag. This is a joke. You know, it's just the SHW management forcing us to defend the titles against somebody, and it could come back to bite them. Like I mentioned earlier, with Parker Lee, could come back and come back to bite Nick Halen. So could be a night of upsets here. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's no secret that Sal and Marv and Matt Sells are all very familiar with each other and been wrestling against and with each other for years and years. But I mean, if there's going to be a team just come out of the blue and take the titles from Happy Madness, I'm totally for whatever you just call them, Marv and Matt Sells. I mean, that is going to be the most entertaining to see them two tag together. I mean, I miss so much All-Star Special and the music and the soundtracks they had, but I'm kind of getting my little fill with Marv and his, you know,
the Cher song.
I just love it. I don't know. It's so weird. It makes you not want to look away, but you want to at the same time. But I mean, it is just so entertaining. And regardless of the outcome of this match, it's going to be one that people are going to just talk about because, you know, that was fun.
Here's the thing. Fun. GB, I know you got some opinions on this, but I just want to throw out there real quick. Just like Gunner was finally able to recapture the SHW title away from Dishonor, I'm really hoping, and again, this is a team that I never even expected to see in SHW. It seemingly was a team that was thrown together here with Matt Sells and Marvelous Michael Stevens.
But it matches so well.
It works, but I'm really hoping that they can just get the titles off of Sal and Sonny and get it away from Dishonor. So that way the gold, whether it's the main title or the tag titles, they're back in SHW. I really don't care who it is, just not Dishonor.
Well, that's just the thing that you mentioned there is, you know, all of this talk of SHW is now back in control. Well, as long as there's a championship with Dishonor, SHW isn't fully in control. Sure, you have somebody else potentially as the booker, whoever that might be. Sure, it seems like Gary's back fully in charge. But those tag team titles is one of those things that was created later in the run of SHW. It was very important to the history of SHW. We've had some great champions hold that title. But what's interesting about this team, Dishonor, they've only defended the championship one time. One time. They've had the titles since September, and they've only defended one time.
Interesting how that works out when the leader of Dishonor is the booker of the company.
This is my point. So with that said, you know, we talk about tag team continuity, et cetera, et cetera. There's a part of me that feels like, you know, Happy Madness may be the last of the Mohicans when it comes to Dishonor having any sort of power. So my question is, are they actually confident that they can go into this without their leader present, without Cruel present? No Brooklyn, no Cruel. You know, they're not in control. Do they lose the tag titles because they're not in control? That's the big question. And this could be the right time for this team of Matt Sells and the Marvelous One to come in and sing and dance and do their thing. But there's one other point I want to quickly make, and that is this. With the booker no longer being Brooklyn and her not being in control of this company anymore, could we see a certain tag team return that was unjustly fired by said booker,
named,
who never got their rematch for the SHW Tag Team Championships?
I mean, as soon as Hug gets back in the ring, I don't see that not happening. Why not?
I'm just saying.
Let's get him well, and that way we can.
But you can reinstate their jobs even if he's, you know, on the mend.
I mean, J2 Strong is there, so I mean, why
certainly.
Not?
I mean, you got the Freebird rule, and
I'm pretty sure, GB, you are definitely not alone in your thinking, because I'm pretty sure most of the SHW faithful are thinking that right along with you. Yeah.
Yes.
Make yourselves vocal, folks.
Please.
There you go. I'll just say that.
Bombard the fan page.
All right. So from the tag title match, let's get to the SHW title match. Gunnar Miller defending against the new #1 contender, Chip Day, in a match that we talked about before. Could be a clash of styles, and styles make matches, as the saying goes. So Gunnar Miller, Chip Day, another match that I never really thought I wanted to see until I saw it on paper and thought, holy crap, that's going to be awesome.
Hey, Chip's finally got his opportunity for the title, right? He had to go through the whole Kyle saga, didn't get my. He's finally there. Now let's see what bad boy Chip's gonna do with it.
I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming.
Oh yes.
Yeah, this is a match we've been wanting to see, you know, and the thing about title shots is they don't come every day. You're not guaranteed to get another one if you don't nail this one. Chip has been waiting for this one ever since he first set foot in SHW. It's why he was willing to break up Technical Excellence. It's why he's gone down this path that he's been going down. What a way to start off 2023. You become the #1 contender. Can he make this the first and final title defense of Gunnar Miller? That's the question. Now that because Gunnar Miller's only really been motivated by, let's get the company back.
Right.
You got the company back. Is Gunnar going to rest on his laurels and say, hey, I did it, I'm good? Or can he defeat the man who is the 2-time Technical Wrestler of the Year and one of the best wrestlers in all of independent wrestling? That's the real question. We'll find out next Friday.
I've often had to question the motivation of Gunnar. So let's see how it. Yeah, let's see
how it goes.
What's my motivation? What's my motivation? Exactly.
Well, one thing we know for sure, it's going to be awesome, and you're not going to want to miss it. But again, like I said, a match or card full of show stealers, because also don't forget, we've got a Dark City street fight, Murder One versus Joe Black. There is absolutely no telling what's going to happen in this matchup. I don't even know if there's any big difference between a regular street fight and a Dark City street fight. Like, I don't know what makes it.
I have a mental picture of just like
it's gonna be
like a
insane.
Batman thing, and just like the villains coming out of the shadows,
Could be.
since the Dark City is all against Joe. I mean, is it going to be like? I don't know.
One thing we know for sure is we saw Joe Black and William Huckabee in a dog collar match that might have been just one of the damnedest things I've ever seen in SHW or in wrestling in general. Because once the dog collar came loose and the boards of the ring started flying and they ended up in the parking lot and my car was parked in the wrong place at the wrong time and they went through the windshield.
Had to get a new car.
And insurance, by the way, didn't cover that.
Bless your heart.
Surprisingly. It wasn't like a weather situation. Yeah, it wasn't.
That's because you told him
the act of a
really
wrestling
happened.
god.
Right. Yeah. So there's no telling. We've seen that match, and there's no telling what's going to happen in this match. I feel like Joe and Huck were just as close as Joe and Murder are, and it's one of those things. Brothers fight harder than normal opponents, and so same kind of situation here, guys. This is going to be insane.
I'm afraid, but I'm intrigued. So.
My only suggestion, guys, don't park close to the front of the action building.
I'm just going to
say
Uber.
There's a whole parking lot. Go to the other side and just make the walk. It's fine.
Listen, we need the exercise anyway, so absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think I'm just going to Uber to the action building that night.
It might be worth it.
Just to play it safe.
Park at the gas station.
I'm telling you what. Yeah, exactly. Fans, you are not going to want to miss it. The Action Building, 261 Marietta Road, next Friday, February 10th. It's going to be SHW48. Tickets go on sale at the door starting at 5 p.m. Doors open at 7 p.m. Bell time at 8 p.m. And V3 will be in the house from 7 to 7:30 on Facebook Live for the pre-show. And you can join us. Comment in the comments section. Follow along in the chat. And if you're at the show, come by and say what's up. Yeah. And Diane will be out front at the merch tables at some point, I'm sure. So just always come by, say what's up, take some pictures with us. We love it. We love meeting you guys and seeing old faces and new faces. And it's going to be fun. But you guys, anything else before we wrap it up until next week?
Get this week over so we can get this going. That's all I'm saying. I miss you guys. I'm ready to see you guys. I'm ready to see the fans. I'm ready to see these matches. Want to see who this new booker is. I'm excited about that. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I will just end and say rest in peace, Lanny Poffo.
Yes.
Absolutely. Heard that earlier this week. And I would tell you, I was Facebook friends with Lanny, and every year he made it a point. And I found out he did this for a lot of people. He made it a point on my birthday to actually say happy birthday. Wow. I didn't know him personally, but he did that
awesome
to me. And a lot of people were commenting that he would always say happy birthday to me on my birthday on Facebook.
That's awesome.
Found out about that earlier this week, and it was sad to hear. But sure. Well, we will see you guys next week. We cannot wait. But until then, this has been
SHW.
This is our wrestling.
Boom.
Just